Hey! Today I'm going to tell you how you can become a nurse in the UK. There's currently two ways to become a nurse in the UK. There's the qualification route, which is going to university, and then there's the apprenticeship route. So stay tuned to find out more. First, we're going to talk about the qualification route, and this is what people consider the normal way to become a nurse. But all of this is changing. So this is very exciting. So the qualification route involves you having your GCSEs and then either doing an access course or doing your A-levels. Doing your A-levels, it's really important to choose subjects that correspond with nursing. So for instance, most nursing schools in the UK want you to either have a science or a social science. Before you're picking your A-levels, it's important to consider choosing a science or whatever the university you want is looking for, if that's really what you want to do, because you don't want to go into your favourite university and then they say, oh, you have to have this A-levels. The best way to find out what grade you need in your A-levels is to go to the university website and go to the nursing page. On the nursing page there'll be UCAS credits that you need per subject, and it will be like AAB or BBC or whatever it might be. And bear in mind, this changes from university to university and from year to year, so it might not necessarily be the same as it was last year or the same as the university up the road. So it's important to look at all options and then make your choices about what university you're going to pick. If you are going to go down the route of the access to nursing course, which is a really good way to find out if nursing is really what you want to do, I would advise speaking to a careers advisor, either in school or college, or go to online and go to your local careers advisor, and this person will advise you whether the access of nursing is the best way for you to go, or if UCAS is the best way for you to go, and depending then you can get different advice and make the best decision for you. So that's the qualifications that you need. So it's either your A-levels or your access to nursing for the university program of nursing, which is currently a BSc in nursing, so an honours Bachelor of Science in nursing. That's what I'm getting currently in my second year at the University of Southampton. As well as the qualifications you need to become a nurse, it's really important to consider the experience that you have before you apply. So some people think, oh, I want to be a nurse, but then when it comes to it, they have no experience and don't actually know what it entails. So I would recommend before your UCAS application to get some experience in regards to nursing. So it doesn't have to be as formal as work experience. It can be volunteering, it can be going back to your school and maybe spending a day with your school nurse, it could be doing a first aid course, it could be going to a hospital and spending a week in a certain unit. If you want to be a midwife, go to a maternity hospital. There's so many opportunities, and this is going to look amazing on your UCAS application, your personal statement, but also it will make you more confident in your decision to become a nurse, because if you have had no experience and you are deciding to become a nurse, it must be so scary because you don't actually know if it's what you want to do, you don't really have any healthcare experience. But at least if you're going in with a small amount of experience, and it doesn't matter if it's not weeks and weeks or you've been a healthcare assistant for 5 years, it doesn't matter, as long as you've had some exposure to it and know it's what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, nursing is a hard course and it takes a lot of strength and determination to get through the 3 years. So I would recommend that tiny bit of work experience will help you go far and help you get to the places you want to get to. Okay, so the next step is the UCAS application, and this is an online system which is the university system that oversees all of the university applications in the UK currently. It's mainly an online system, and this is where you will apply to 5 different universities that you want, and then depending on what offers you get, you pick 2 top ones. You pick your first one and then your insurance choice, and this means you have variety hopefully when you get your interviews, and if you do, congratulations. So the university UCAS application involves for nursing a personal statement. This personal statement, like I mentioned previously, is where you include all your experience that you have, any life experience that differs you from the next person. So let's say you had a granddad who was really sick and you helped with his care, or the work experience you have. And it's important to include in your UCAS personal statement about communication. So communication is a huge key point in nursing that you'll be doing every single day, so showing how you're a good communicator. Also, I would recommend looking up the 6 C's, and then from there showing how you can demonstrate the 6 C's. So it's not ideal to just mention the 6 C's and say, oh, the 6 C's are care, compassion, courage, blah blah blah. You need to say, I am caring because, or I am compassionate because of this time, or I communicate well, blah. Like, demonstrating how you take those 6 C's in your everyday life is the most important thing. Listing them means nothing because anybody can Google them and write them down, but it's actually taking one of the 6 C's and showing actually how you demonstrate it, not how anybody else demonstrated, but how you personally, and having a really personal story differs you from the next person. Because think about it, they're reading thousands and thousands of these personal statements, so you want something that differs you from somebody else. I would also recommend going onto NHS websites and looking at the key values that the NHS trusts use. So for instance, if you go to Solent NHS Trust and list their values, they're similar to the 6 C's, but they're at the heart of nursing. So not listing them, but taking 1 or 2 of them and showing how you demonstrate them would be a really good idea. Top tip. So from the personal statement, you will then hopefully receive some offers. And if you do, again, congratulations. Let me know, anybody who's starting nursing, in the description below. I would love to hear. So when you've been offered an interview place, you need to find out what that interview entails. So for instance, my interview when I was starting nursing involved an English exam and a maths exam, and like a one-on-one interview and a group interview. Currently, University of Southampton don't do that model anymore. They've got rid of the maths exam and the English exam, and now have one-on-one interview but also a group interview. And then instead of the maths and English exam, the applicants are required to watch a video and then kind of summarize what was in the video and what you would do if you were in that situation. So that's very different to how it used to be. So checking every year what the interview will entail is a good point. You'll get loads of information about it in the post and things like that, so I wouldn't worry too much, but just know what you're going into, because there's nothing worse than turning up for an interview and not realising that you've a maths exam and you can't use your calculator. Trust me, that's happened to me. Know if you can use your calculator. If you can't, I wasn't allowed to use my calculator in University of Southampton exam, but now they don't even do a maths exam. So just seeing how things change. Universities still require a maths exam just because as a nurse you need basic mathematician skills, because you'll be doing drug calculation for blood products and also for IVs and medicine. So it's really important that you have a basic knowledge of maths. But if you're applying to university and you've gotten this far in the application process, I'm sure you have the right amount of level of maths needed. So don't worry about that and just believe in yourself that you can do it. So that's the university way of getting into nursing. Now I'm going to talk about the apprenticeship way. This is a new way of training to be a nurse, and not every university does it, but I'm going to explain the process of getting an apprenticeship while still working. And there's a few pros and cons to this. So firstly, it means you don't have to pay the £9,000 fees. I should have mentioned previously, the university route requires everybody to pay £9,000 a year for your tuition, and there's student loans that you can get for this. So if you just Google about the student loans that you can get, then your fees will be covered, but you'll have to pay it back when you're working. For the apprenticeship, you don't have to pay the £9,000 a year, so it is technically free tuition. Not every university is doing it, as I mentioned, but this is more so for the people who are currently healthcare assistants, who are working on the job and then apply. So for instance, I'm on placement at the moment, and we have 2 or 3 associate nursing apprenticeships students currently working with us, and they're healthcare assistants who then applied to do the nursing apprenticeship. So they're currently paid the same amount as they were before starting this, but 1 day a week they have a university day, and in this university day they go off and they do their lectures and things like that for a full day, and then some of them come back and work after that. But they also have placements just like the rest of us, but these will be in conjunction with where you work. So it's important as a nursing apprenticeship that where you work are accepting of this, and obviously talk to them beforehand. But all of the nursing apprenticeships I know are currently working at the moment. I think that's the point of it. It's to keep you in work so you're still getting paid. So for instance, people that have children, it's really beneficial because it means they don't have to quit their job and pay £9,000 a year and get in debt. They can continue working, still getting paid and still getting their degree. There is one difference, however. The university course is 3 years while the apprenticeship is 4. This is not much of a difference, so don't take this into consideration that much. Where I'm from in Ireland, nursing is still a 4-year degree, so the apprenticeship is a perfect way of still getting your nursing degree, but also being able to work and still getting paid, because that's one thing I've seriously struggled with at university. You're working so hard, you don't really have time to have a job, but then you're poor, and then you think about your £9,000 a year fees, and money definitely is an issue for a lot of nursing students. So I think this apprenticeship's a way of taking that money burden away from student nurses and still giving people the opportunity to become nurses. Everyone I've talked to that is a nursing apprenticeship student really rates it highly, and I think it's something that will definitely be brought into a lot more universities in the coming years. People may ask, where can I do this nursing apprenticeship? I know Solent University in Southampton does it, and the Open University, which is slightly different, do a similar type of program, so have a look into the Open University as well. But I know Solent do one where people work as a healthcare assistant and then go to uni 1 day a week. That's what the women in my placement are currently doing. So I know this is a lot of information to take in such a short amount of time, but I really hope it all made sense. If you have any questions, please leave them in the description below and I will reply to every single one. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.